Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Sailor Moon. This pattern or this set was requested a while back and I've got around to making her now. At the time I started designing her, I had looked online and found there were a couple of really good patterns, but none in English. And there are some alternate patterns up now, including a really nice one by Clay by Shay. So I kind of second guess myself about putting this up, but I'm going to do more in the set. So this is to get you started, and they're all going to be similar. For Sailor Moon herself, you're going to need some red, one gold, or yellow for the hair, a skin tone, white and blue. You want to have a couple of C-clips, a couple of hooks or holding hooks, your loom in the offset configuration. And for the eyes and the hair bows, you can use beads or bands. In this video, this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do it using just some pony beads. Alright, so let's get started on the legs then. And feel free to modify as we go. You might want to have shorter legs or tighter arms or whatnot. So to get the boots, we are going to start with a single red, wrap it on the hook 1, 2, 3 times. You can do it even an extra one if you want it super tight. Take a red single, twist it, pull it back onto itself, and slide your first wrapped band over. Take another single red, stretch it out, double it over, pull through, and we want one more over single red for the toe of the boot. Push this down just a little bit, and we're going to take a single red, wrap it on the hook 1, 2, 3 times, and pull that onto a doubled over single red. Now take 2 red bands, put them on the end of your hook, and slide onto those 2 bands everything that's on your hook currently. And put that in the middle and replace the other end. And we want 5 more sets of double red bands. So that's double rather than doubled over. I think I've grabbed the wrong pattern here, but I know what to do. So we're okay. I'll pick up the right one in a couple minutes here. So that's 1 more set of 2 bands. So it's 2 sets of 2 bands. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, and we want a total of 6. Now at this point you've got a bit of a choice. I've put the white cap on the top of the red. This will make your leg a little bit longer, so you can leave that out, or you can make your red a little shorter or your skin tone a little shorter if you don't want quite that much length. I'm going to stick to my original and use my whites again, so that's 2 whites, pull them through. And then we're switching to skin tone, and we're going to do 5 sets of skin tone bands. I used the lightest one my first go through. This time I'm using the tan bands. I'm waiting for a shipment of some new colors. So you can see I've got a lot of tan, but I'm all out of the light one, unfortunately. And this will be okay though. I'm going to do 2, 3 sets, double bands in each set, 4 and 5, and then this will go on to 2 blue bands. You can leave it here or put it on another holding hook, and we're going to make the second leg in exactly the same way. Single band, red band, wrap it nice and tight, pull that onto a doubled over single, pull that onto 2 more doubled over singles. So here's 1, and here's 2. another single band, but nice and tight. 1, 2, 3. I'm doing an extra wrap there. Some of my bands are kind of stretchy. Doubled over single, pull it through the first piece, or the piece closest to the end of your hook. And we're going to take 2 bands and pull those through all of the shoe pieces here. Put the other end back on, even it out, and this goes on to 6 sets of double red. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1 set of double white bands. And 5 sets of double skin tone bands. We're going to make the arms next. So we're using white. Now your arms are going to get a little bit curly as we're making them. What I've done at the end of mine is I secured my hands to the body. I'll show you how to do that later. Just forewarning, it will curl. If you really don't want the curl, you can use double bands and just not as many. We're going to take 2 white bands, wrap them on the hook 1, 2, 3 times. And let me just do a quick count here. I believe it's 6 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. We're going to put this onto 6 doubled over single bands. So that's 1. And these are all going to be white, this first part. Even that out a bit. 2. And 3. 4. 5. And 6. And then onto a doubled over single red. This is kind of like the elbow joint here where the glove ends. And 5 sets, or 5 single doubled over skin tone bands. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to make one more arm and we'll put our hook down for a little bit after that. So 2 whites wrapped on the hook 1, 2, 3 times, hold on to 6 doubled over single whites. We're repeating what we just did for the first arm. And 6, 1 doubled over red, and then we've got 5 doubled over skin tone bands. Now just before we get to the loom, I'm going to give you a heads up. We're going to be doing a kind of basic form on the loom, and then we'll be adding a lot of parts afterwards, like the bow and the kind of collar pieces. So if you see pieces that kind of look like they're missing, it's because we're going to be adding them on afterwards. That's what we're going to need some of those C-clips for, just to keep everything clean in the back. So it's 4 and this is 5. Okay, make sure you have some skin tone, white, red, blue, not yet red, blue bands ready, and we're going to move over to the loom. We're going to do the body first, and then we will attach that to the head afterwards. So let's grab 2 skin tone bands and bring them from the top center peg to the second peg down in the center. Come down one more time in the middle with double skin tone bands, and then come out from the second center peg to the second side peg with double skin tone, and repeat for the opposite side. And from here we'll switch to white, and we're going to come down 4 times in the middle with double white bands. So start at that third peg down, lay down 2 bands, another 2, another 2, and 2 more. So on either side we're going to come down 3 times with, that's right, looks a little funny, just let me check here, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's good, and 1, 2, 4. Okay, 4 times with double white bands on either side as well. Oh, I see why we started one higher up, because of our skin tone. That makes sense. So your side rows are going to end, the placements are going to end just above the middle one. We'll do this one more time on the right side. And we're going to be switching to blue. We're going to come down 3 times with double blue bands on each of the rows. So we're starting at the 6th pegs down, I believe. We'll come down 1, 2, and 3 times. This is for our skirt. We'll repeat that for the middle. The middle is going to start at the 7th peg down, I guess. It's just going to end up, again, a little ending just below where the side one ends. And we can put the arms on now, onto the 2nd pegs down on either side. So transfer the bands off of your hook and onto that peg. You want to try to do it so that your arm is kind of curling in as much as possible there. Other arm. Now you might have to take your hook out and put it back through from the opposite direction, or transfer it to another hook and then on if you're finding it's curling too much outwards. Oh, silly me. One of our legs we need to put on that 1 extra set of double blue bands. Glad I caught that. So slide that on. Now you're going to take 2 blue bands, slide both leg pieces onto those 2 bands, and stretch from the 5th peg up on one side to the 5th peg up on the other side if you're counting from the bottom, or from the top. We are at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th peg to the 9th peg. And you're just gonna put the legs on either side here. Let's put on some holding bands. We're gonna start with a single white band and stretch it across all of your 3rd pegs down. So it makes a little triangle there. We'll do that one more time beneath. And for the next 2, I would recommend doubled over single bands to make it a little more snug around the waist. You can even take the bottommost one and give it an extra twist if your bands are strong enough and you've got enough space. So we're going to double it over and, oops, try not to catch it on that. And I'm going to twist it again and bring it back over to the midway point. So if you can't get it that tight, that's okay. Just the idea is to sort of cinch in the waist just a little bit. Right, for our blues, we're just using single blues. Stretch it across, and one more time, stretch it across. Okay, so the last thing we need to do before we loop up the body is to add our side extensions. And I'll just show you again, this is how it comes out. So if there's another method you'd like to use, or if you want to modify it at all, this is the time. To replicate what I've got here, you're going to take a single band, wrap it 1, 2, and 3 times, and pull it onto 4 sets of double blue bands. We're going to take the bands that are on the hook now and put them onto the first peg that has blue on it. So this is your 6th peg down on the loom. You're going to place that on top. And then what I've done is I found the bottom kind of cap band, and I'm not going to go through there. I'm going to go through the space above, through the first chain above. And this is going to go onto the peg that's holding the legs on. And then we want to sort of stretch it out and take a piece out of the next chain up, put that onto the peg above, and a piece from the next chain. This is going to keep it from just flapping out on the side. Put that on the peg, the other one in between. So this way what's going to happen is this last piece is going to stick out a little bit. If you don't want that, you can actually take one piece out of the chain, move everything up, and put the cap band on that bottom one. But that might make it curve in a bit more. At any rate, we're going to keep going and make one for the other side. So a single wrap 3 times, I think I said 3, pulled onto 4 sets of double blue bands. Try and keep this moving here for you. Turn your loom around, put it onto the 6th peg down where your white ends. Get into that bottom space just above the cap. Put that on the last blue, or on the peg that's holding the legs, and grab a piece out of each chain to go on. Now we can loop up the body, and just, if you're faster than me, wait when you get to the very top, because there's one thing to do when we remove this. So we'll start by looping up the center, and we'll stop at the 3rd peg from the top. Grab your bottom 2 and bring them forward. Push back the leg piece, grab the bottom 2, bring them forward. There shouldn't be anything in your way here really, we're just going to keep looping up to the top. You want 2 bands each time. I'm going to stop when I get to the skin tone and then loop up on the side. We're going for the bottom layer. So open part of your hook facing up, push back, grab those bottom 2. You can pull them up to the side if you're having a hard time finding them. Wiggle it around and place that onto the next peg up. Inside, push back, grab the bottom 2 and loop forward. We're going to do this till we reach the arms. Push back everything but those bottom 2. Just keep going and be careful. There is some tension around those double over holding bands. So take your time. You can always pause this if you need to. We're going to go in for the bottom 2 and bring those to the middle. That's on that 2nd peg down. And then we need to repeat all of this for the right side. There's that tight section there. If your loom is kind of weak and you feel things are getting too tight, you can always ease off some of the tension on the already looped bottom sections here. Just watch that things are secured before you take anything off. I'm just gonna ease this up a little bit here before we go on. Okay, loop from the second peg down in towards the middle. And then we'll go to that third peg down and loop up once, get your bottom two, and loop up again towards the top. Now, before you take this off the loom, you're going to want to get 1 or 2 red bands, depending on the thickness that you'd like. This is with 2, and that's what I'm going to do again. And with 2 bands, you're going to put them on the end of the hook and wrap them once. If you're only using a single band, you might want to give it an extra wrap. And then what we're going to do is put our hook through the bands on the top center peg, through all of them, and pull that off and press the red over. Now if you'd like, I'll show you what this looks like once you've taken it off. You can do it now and then remove, or I think we'll just remove this to make it easier. But you want those red ones on the hook first, because it just sort of, it's an easier way to go about this. So we're going to push the red pieces over top of the skin tone and over the end of the hook. So we've got the little necklace now. And we are, we'll do the head and the face, and then I'll show you how to add the extra parts. I'm just going to put this onto a different hook, because I like to hook to loom with my thin one here. So this is just going to hold this for the moment. We're going back to the loom. We're going to start on the head and the hair here. So we're switching to gold or yellow. I've got yellow here. Coming down top center to top right with double bands. Top center to top left with double bands. And twice down on each row with double yellow bands. We're going to switch to skin tone and come down twice on either side. Double skin tone bands. And 3 times down in the middle with double skin tone bands. Take 2 skin tone bands and come from the side 5th peg to the center 6th peg. And repeat that from the left side inwards. We're going to take a single skin tone, stretch it, twist it, double it over, lay it across. These will be your 5th pegs down. We're making a triangle just above this chin area here. Single skin tone from across the 3rd pegs down. A yellow single triangle above that. Now for your eyes, if you are using beads with a small hole, you can use a thread and needle, floss, dental floss, a wire to transfer those onto a band. I'm using beads with a larger hole, so I'm going to show you how to do this, and then I'll show you how to do it with bands. So with your 2 beads, you're just going to put them on your hook, put a single skin tone on the end, and push over. This will go from the 4th peg down on the side to the 4th peg down on the other side. And they just popped out. Bothersome things. Alright, and then I'll show you quickly what to do with the bands. I'll give you a 3rd option as well. I have seen a couple of people have made Sailor Moons where they have printed out or got stickers for eyes that look like that really closely resemble hers. And they've glued them on, it looks like, and they look really cool. So that's another way you can do this. And I've put my hook in between and pulled it over. Now if you're using blue bands, you can use light or dark blue. Take one, wrap it 3 times. Take another and wrap it 1, 2, 3 times. And pull both onto that skin tone band just as you did with the beads. And one last option, just really quickly I'll show you. And I've seen this done as well. This might be more to your liking. You can do this with a bead or with a band, where you have a blue and then you're going to take a white band, put it on one side, wrap it over, wrap and wrap. And you would make your second eye the same way and then pull them both on. So you have quite a few options, and if you're watching any of my future Sailor Moon tutorials, you have the same choices available to you. For the top piece, in my first one I used just round pearl beads, and I used a red permanent marker to draw on the front part. If you have a round red bead, that would also work well. You can also use 2 or 3 red bands. Let's try it with 3. You can wrap them 1-2 times and pull those onto, I'll show you this a couple of ways again. So with bands, put it onto a doubled over single and then put that onto 2 yellow bands. And I'll show you what to do with those in a minute. If you're using beads, just put the bead on, transfer onto 2 yellow bands, or I guess a doubled over single if you want it to be a little tighter. Trying to see what I did. I think I just put it onto a single band actually. We put the other end on and we transfer this onto the top left peg. Just like so, nice and easy. And we'll do for the other side as well. And I like the really big round ones because they sort of pop out on top. You can even put those on after the chains if you want more of a pop there too, but this is good. I'll show you one more time slowly. Put that onto the top right. And another note just before we start on our chains here is that I haven't added earrings for any of my characters, but if you have a bead that you want to put onto, transfer onto a band and then sort of hook it through. If you had a bead on here, you could pull it through and grab it on the other side and just secure it at the back. So I'm not doing earrings, but that's how you would go about it. So for the hair chains, you're going back to your hair color. And we are taking a single band, wrapping it 1, 2, 3 times. And I'm really sorry guys, we're going to use a whole 20 sets of double bands. It's going to make for a long stretch of hair. Of course, you're welcome to do it shorter, to do it tighter by doubling over your bands, to do it longer if you want to. You can even do a single chain and just use single bands, but this gives a nice sturdiness, a nice thickness, I thought. So this is going to be the third set of 2. This is 4, 5, and we want a total of 20. Okay, last one for me. Take another minute if you need it. We're going to pop this onto the top peg. You can put it over the red bead or red bands or whatnot, or on top. Either is probably just fine. I've stretched mine over. I'm going to make a chain for the other side, single wrapped, pulled onto 20 sets of double yellow bands. This is 19 and 20. Put this on the top right peg. So we're gonna add our body, we're gonna loop this up, and then we'll show you how to add on the collar, the bow, and the piece by the waist, as well as how to sink in the, or I'm not sure what word I'm looking for, how to, I don't know, tighten in the arms there, how to position those. So I'm gonna carefully press down the bands on my 6th peg down in the center. Make sure my body is facing up towards me. We're gonna put the bands that are on the hook onto that 6th peg down. Now for this next part, you might find you need to turn your loom sideways a little bit or pull bands out to the side. But what we will be doing, oh, and you can also stretch the neck down more if you need to. So we're gonna look for the 2 top bands that are under that neck piece we've added, and we're gonna pull them over to the left side. You should get a nice clean little teardrop shape. The next 2 are going to the right side, and the last ones are going up. We are going to loop up. You can loop up the center first is fine. So just take your bottom 2 and bring them forward until you hit the top. And then we'll do as we did with the lower body, push back and find the bottom 2 on your left side. Bring it forward, push back the eyes, get your bottom 2, bring it forward, inside the holding bands. And again, I'm gonna try and reach over that red band bead if I can, without popping it off. Oh dear. A second, let me fix that. Stuff happens sometimes, right? And we're gonna reach inside that top side peg carefully. We've got to keep everything down here. Find the bottom 2 bands, which again you might have to pull out to the side a little bit, and bring those to the middle. And we're going to loop up the far side. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm kind of coming in from the side of the peg and wrapping around, and that way, in some cases that's a good way to do it because you won't get caught on the peripheral, the side ones. And bottom 2 on that top right, bring those to the middle. We're going to take a single yellow band, 2 if you want to be extra secure. Get that ready in your left hand. And with your right hand, grab your hook, point the open part of the hook away from you. Push your hook through the bands on the top center peg and out in between your top center peg and your top left peg. Grab that yellow band, pull it up, and as you're coming up, turn your hook so that the open part is facing upwards. Grab the other side and pull one piece over the other and over the top of the hook to create a slip knot. You can put this on a hook or a C-clip or just hold it, and we're going to take Sailor Moon off of the loom. There shouldn't be too much tension, but we still want to be careful so we don't get our bands don't get too stretched out. You want to kind of adjust your red pieces to the side, and we'll turn to the back, put the hook under a couple of bands, and it doesn't matter too much which. The idea is that we want this band, the holding band, to stretch kind of tight by the time it's under those. So I'm going to go down just a couple, grab that band and pull it through. It's still a little loose, so I'm going to reach under another band and pull that through. This goes onto a C-clip. Okay, next piece. Alright, and adjust your eyes, draw on pupils if you need to. Next piece, we're going to take 3 blue bands, and I'll do my best to make everything clear here. I know it's a little hard sometimes to see when I'm doing the hook work, but I will try my best here. So you're going to take your hook and go through the back towards the front, and you want to try and get right under that V of skin tone at the neck. You're going to take 3 blue and pull them part way through. Now if you want, you can put the front part onto a C-clip or a hook. I'm just going to hold it here. And on the back side, I'm taking a blue band. I'm going to pull it through, and I'm going to grab it. You can even, if you want to, you can even do that before you bring it through. Pull a band through those 3 and pull it to the back. Now I'm going to put this on this C-clip for the moment. And what we need to do is grab these blue bands around the top. So I'm going to go to the sort of top side here. I'll go through 1 or 2 skin tone bands towards the back. And as I said, these don't have to be specific bands. This is just the general area here. I'm going to grab those 3 blue bands and pull them under. Okay. And then, oh, you could even pull them right over if you want to. I think that's what I'll do. I think I'm just going to bring them over the shoulder to the back. Now on the back side again, you're going to take the band that's on the C-clip. I'm going to take one of those out. And I got to turn her upside down to show you this here. What we're going to do is put one side of that band that came through on the end of the hook and pull it through those 3. And then place that back onto the C-clip. So this is the back side you're looking at, and we've pulled those through. We're going to do it again for the opposite side. So just a little bit different because we already have bands there, but we are going to take our 3, get them ready on the left hand, reach through at the same spot, pull those 3 part way through, and you can have a hook on the other side if you want. You can use a new single band if you want. I'm going to take one of these pieces that we've used already off of the C-clip, put it on the hook, pull it under the 3 bands, and then I'm going to reach up to the top. So this is the front you're looking at again. Grab those 3 bands, and we're going to pull them underneath the single. Like the single's going to go over and over the end of the hook. And we'll grab a single band or get a new single band. Taking that right off the C-clip again to pull that through and to put that onto the C-clip again. So it's a little complicated, but if you kind of feel your way around there, I think you'll be able to figure it out without too much trouble here. And I'm going to leave the C-clip there because we're going to use that for our bow. The bow is actually pretty straightforward. We're going to take 5 red, get them ready, and take a gold band. I like these thick jellyish ones. Wrap it nice and tight. 1, 2, 3. Pull that over your 5 bands. If you're finding it's too hard, you can wrap the gold a little bit less or use 4 bands instead of 5. And what we want to do is take some of those off, but leave the bottom one. So take out 1 set from there. We're going to try to even this out, and we're going to pull this connecty piece through the body to the back, exactly where you put on the blue. So pull it to the back and put it on the C-clip, which is already there and ready. You can cinch it in if it's too loose, and we're gonna just tug the pieces until they're a little more even. Okay, we're almost done. Just another piece to do here. Okay, so we are almost done. We're just going to, like I said, straighten up this bow a little, even things out there. You can always pull this red band in a little bit tighter if you're finding it's flopping. I'm going to show you next how to make the little top of the skirt here. So for that we're gonna do it pretty well exactly what we just did for the collar. You're gonna take 3 whites, put your hook through kind of where the skirt is ending here. Pull those to the back. Run a single white band through it. I'll put this onto the C-clip for now. You might find that you don't even need that C-clip. You might be able to hold it comfortably in the meantime. We're gonna catch these bands from the back. So let me turn this around and grab all 3. I'm gonna go through a piece of the side. This will make it fit a little bit tighter. We're gonna go under. See if we're happy with where it's lining up, which I'm not quite. I feel like my whites are a little too low here. So give me a second to adjust. As I said, this part might take a little bit of feeling around to get the right spot, but once you do, that's all good. Okay, so I'm gonna position this a little bit higher, I think. It's in the middle of that white part. Then we'll grab it around from the back, and I'm gonna go through those 3 and pull that single through. And we're going to do the same thing, so go through, same spot, take 3, put them on the end of the hook and pull it to the back. I've only got 2 there, go back, make sure we get all 3 of them. Yeah, this is kind of a pain to do this part, but so forth. So it goes, we're going to take that single and pull it through. Put that on the C-clip again. And grab this from the side, around the back, up top here. Pull that single through again. We're almost done. I'm just going to show you what you could do if you want your arms to sit more snugly. Put this under a nearby C-clip. Okay. So I have to check my notes and I'll make an annotation for you if need be, but I feel like this white should be 1 higher up there. At any rate, the last thing is if you want your arms to kind of sit snug, what you'll do is decide where you want it to be positioned. Turn it around to the back side. Go through a piece of the back. Any piece will do if it's close to the edge. Go through a piece of the arm and slide it under. So pull that blue piece over the white and put that onto a C-clip, or you can weave it in closer so the C-clip doesn't show. So go under another band, slide it under, and put it on a C-clip, and that's where your arm will stay. So there is Sailor Moon. I have Sailor Pluto ready. I'm going to make the tutorial for you shortly. And I would love to see what you come up with in terms of the different kinds of eyes or different techniques that you might have tried with this as well. So thank you for watching and keep tuned. I'll get the rest of the setup for you as soon as I can.